And we're live. Alive. Except for Annika. Ha.
Too
Woo.
soon.
Anyway.
And,
Wow, that's so rude. I can't believe you would do this.
and half of Cressida. I forgot how messed up Cressida is.
She got fucked.
She did. Oh, that last form of Andiacin with that plus 11 and that damage. I will say this. I can't call it luck, but you guys, it's so good that Rhea was the one standing next to Andiacin when she got up, because that attack thing that she had is nasty. It's like an instant plague that starts eating away at your body. It is just devastating. Not to paladins, though.
That thing, I was so worried when you asked me about that it was somehow going to go through that.
So the way I thought about it is that you got to imagine, even though the game doesn't really have mechanics for it, and I've never, I'm not saying I'm going to do this to you, but you got to imagine that when we say paladins are immune to it, it just means that their god offers a certain level of protection that diseases can't penetrate, right? So if something out there nasty enough wanted to, they could break through. Does that make sense? Like, that's the way I always kind of picture it. Like, if Ugathora herself got it on in her mind to give you the blood veil, nothing would stop her. You know what I mean? So my thought is, unless Rhea is, maybe like if Rhea was a level 20 paladin and so in tight with her god that maybe at that point, yes. But so my thought was, this was so potent, so powerful that it almost broke through your paladin defenses. Like, and that's and like, I think Rhea would understand that as well. Like, holy crap, that is not supposed to happen. But
right. I'm
also not a dick, so what's the point of playing a paladin if that stuff is pointless? So the idea was that she was at that form, in that moment, she was a bona fide full blown child of Ugathor and had nasty juju on that blade, almost enough to break your paladin immunity. And if Cressida hadn't made that will save, she would not be looking pretty right now.
It's all right. Rhea got vaccinated.
Wow.
Are you
Measles.
gonna be okay?
Measles is what was on that side.
Wow.
Whew.
Oh.
Sorry, just had to close my door real quick. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, when last we left, our fabled adventurers were going toe-to-toe with the evil and scary Andiacin, and ended up kicking her butt. And a few other people's butts, like a skeletal minotaur, and a doctor whose name you do not know yet, or still, who apparently thought far more of himself than he should have, and got slaughtered pretty handily. But it was a bitter fight. It was I don't know, what would you guys say? Would you say that was one of the more difficult fights you've been in?
Emotionally.
Sure.
Definitely was for me, because I haven't been here that long.
That's true too.
It was much easier for Ross than the previous battle.
You warned the door that time.
Any damage.
Getting the shit kicked out of her that time.
Yeah.
My God, I think I said that after the session. Like, it's a good thing Shala didn't try casting Guardian on Rhea for that fight. Shala would have been out like a light.
Shit.
Even Shala's like, nope.
Well, speaking of, I'll ask you later, or I'll message it to you.
Gotcha. And by the way, I'm going to actually pass Shala off to you guys this time for one reason alone. It's actually a little bit harder for me to control Shala as an NPC because she's so fleshed out, in the sense that I, as a GM, am constantly going, okay, I know what would be perfect to do in this situation because I know what's about to happen. Do I do it, or you know what I mean? Like, every time Shala comes up, I'm like, so Do I purposely not use her as best as I can, or do I? So I'd rather just give her to you guys in fights. That way, if Shala ends up doing something really cool, and plus that too, it won't steal your spotlight. If Shala does something really cool, it's the players that made it happen. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I'm giving her back to you guys during combat, unless, again, as always, I have to take her over for narrative purposes, like when the Blood Rage takes her. Which has happened far more than I expected it to. I really thought that was going to be a rare occurrence, but no. Not even close.
Mostly because of me, too.
Mostly, yes.
I'm playing a paladin. It's a bit difficult to switch back over to a bard.
Oh, man. So, in any case, everyone, let me go ahead and set the mood. There we go. Alright, good. So, we stopped the session right after Andiason fell for the last time. Let me give you a little bit more description of what you see around you, now that your attention is not focused solely on the less important things, like, I don't know, a daughter of Ugathora and a Leku demon. In this room that is now eerily quiet, you see 3 corpses. The corpse of Andiason, a skeletal pile of bones that used to be the Minotaur, and the human corpse of that human that you don't really know. He was in league with them, obviously. He had some position of power, as he was telling everyone upstairs what to do, but honestly, you still don't know much about him, other than he really does not like Miri Spirit Guardians. And where the Leku demon was, there's nothing. It fell to the floor and slowly dissipated into a cloud of black smoke that, instead of rising, actually sunk into the ground and disappeared as you were continuing to fight Andiason. When you look around you in the room, you see 3 large vats. Muri and Arlen, actually anyone who has a medical proficiency, roll me a medicine check, sorry. Okay, wow, all of you, really good rolls. All 3 of you look at those for a few seconds and you realize what they are. These are vats. Absolute vats of concentrated blood veil. They were obviously being cultivated and stored in these large glass vats. It has a sickly blue-green tinge to it. It almost looks like slime. And how it was injected is hard to tell, but you know enough to know that the blood veil itself, especially given your brother's notes, Arlen, or Ross, could be transmitted through contact to the skin. In other words, you would not want to stick your hand in this vat. It would not be good times for you.
So don't touch.
Don't touch. But you also know that in these vats alone, is enough concentrated plague to wipe out a decent-sized city. If this were to get onto the streets, what is already a monstrous plague that is difficult to defeat would be almost unstoppable. Beyond them, and underneath the, or on top of the walkways, about 10 feet above you, you see 4 doors. Here. Here. I'm sorry, 5 doors. Here. Oops. Whoa. Whoa! Moving my own map. Here. And here.
Squeeze, could you bring the map up for me again? I minimized
Sure.
it, but I don't know where it went.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
I've lost it.
Did that bring it back up for you?
Yes, thank you.
Also, Murray, your spirit guardians have dissipated, as your spiritual weapon's still around, though.
Spirit guardians? No, the big dude lasts 8 hours, I think.
Oh, good lord. Okay. Pretty. All right, sure.
Let me double check that for you. Hold on.
It only has 3 uses though, so.
Yeah, it's only got.
Oh, right. I see. You can only do it a certain amount of times. Okay, that makes more sense. So never mind. He's not gone. He's standing there. I don't know, what is he doing, Murray?
All you can see is the giant sword and shield, and they're just kind of chilling.
Gotcha.
Well then, you throwing it over to us?
Yeah. What do you do?
Okay. I imagine this is quite instantaneous after the fight ended. Freya is running over to Endiason's dead body and is stomping it like into the ground. There is no hesitation. She's not holding back. She is getting the floor soaked in. I don't know what type of blood this thing has. It's not really alive.
There is no blood, actually. As you begin to stomp on her, her body starts to crack and crumble, as if you were stepping on the something so dried and so decayed that it actually turns into powder beneath your feet, leaving only the gear that Endiason wore. You see some form of breastplate, of course the giant scythe that she used, a cloak, a brilliantly gemmed headband, and a couple of other things. In fact, I'll go ahead and share this with you guys, because as I'm sure as you're stomping on her body, it would be undeniably obvious that these items are left behind, as the rest of it just kind of disintegrates into dust.
Oh, yeah, she's probably stomping on the items too, not really thinking about that.
Sure.
I'll leave the record keeping to Ross or something. I don't know, someone who takes inventory.
Yeah,
I promise you. Yeah, there's no way Freya's doing that.
Oh, real quick, Squee.
Mm-hmm.
It says magical scythe on here, but that scythe was literally attached to her hand. Like, is it just the head of the scythe?
No, as she fell and her body began to crumble, the scythe that was fused with her has unfused again. It was something that she was doing to it, but the scythe itself remains.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, god damn it.
She's talking to you from beyond the grave.
That's what I was thinking. Is she actually? I mean, are you making that?
No, it's not me.
Okay.
Amelia has truckers that likes to sit in on her games for once in a while. For those of you who actually aren't aware, so it's I think it's your headset. It's something weird with your headset that will pick up CB waves from random times. So if there's truckers driving by talking on the CB, her headset will pick it up.
Oh, yeah, no, that's absolutely me. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's really interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I hate it, and they're super loud. And the closer they are to me, the louder they are.
It's the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah,
amazing.
so, like, imagine it's 2 in the morning and you're watching, like, a scary documentary, and then there's somebody who comes in on the radio, like, shh, there's a guy in the bluegrass, I'm coming up on Highway 80. Yeah, it's
Like-
the worst.
Like right when she's crawling out of the TV from the ring, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the worst.
It's amazing.
In any case.
And I don't know, I don't think it's my headphones, I think it's my computer, because I can change headphones, and the same damn thing happens.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
no,
amazing.
Blue, it's been happening to my computer as well. So it's not
good.
just your
Okay, it's
computer.
just where we are.
Yeah.
It's that you probably have a lot of truckers passing by, and the signal is strong enough to literally resonate off of the components of your computer. It would not be the first time I've heard of
I wish
it.
it was that interesting, but no, it's really just one guy, and his name is Big Daddy in the Bluegrass, and he introduces himself like that every
Wow.
time.
Wow.
You
Amazing.
say that's
And I
less
know-
interesting,
I
but I
know-
disagree.
I know way more about his life than I need to.
You're telling me you could make money creating his autobiography? Or, no, it wouldn't be an autobiography. It'd just be a biography. You
How-
could make money off of that,
so-
and you're not taking that opportunity?
How does it feel to be like the NSA? That's all I want to know.
You're his FBI agent.
Yeah, but she's not getting paid for it.
I
and
know.
So it's just not worth
Yeah,
it.
and this dude is also like really racist. So
Oh,
y'all
no.
have been warned.
Well, yeah.
Y'all have been warned.
You know, we're gonna get like so many viewers that are just tuning in to hear Big Blue.
Just tune in just to listen to, catch glimpses of him.
Yeah. All right. So
Forgot what was happening.
the rest
Yeah,
of you
sorry.
see Freya stomping on the powdered remains of Andiason, and you do see that the gear that is left behind on the floor in what is now a dust imprint of what used to be the priestess of the Pallid Princess.
And as Freya does that, like pretty much almost instantaneously, you see Mwiri start to kind of glow with. Whenever she uses spells that are like more offensive, they tend to glow kind of golden. And you see her cast Sacred Flame on the body of the Minotaur first, to immolate it, and then she's gonna do the same to.
You don't want to see if, people have things before you just destroy them bodies?
Oh, I do want to mention, by the way. I don't know if that would
to
change.
destroy objects. It's just
Okay.
she's doing it specifically because they're undead.
Yeah, Sacred Flame wouldn't be enough to destroy armor or weapons or magical items or anything like that. I mean, maybe... Now, I will say, and this is something to keep in mind, it will certainly destroy papers and documents and flammable things.
Well, I don't think the Minotaur was holding anything important.
That's-
Something tells me-
Yeah.
Bones and a great axe really is all that he was, or... like, you don't even have to roll me an investigation check on that one. It's bones and a great axe.
Yeah, or Ross would speak up after, like, the Minotaur and say, wait, let's search the bodies before we
Oh, I do
burn
want.
them.
I don't know if it would change what you're saying, but I just wanted to mention Freya's not just quietly stomping on him. She's also probably yelling quite a bit, which I was getting to. I just didn't want to interrupt Squee.
Oh boy, no, I want to hear this.
Excuse me as I try to think how to yell like a girl. No, it's my voice. I'm trying to think how to. Give me a second.
As he mutes himself to practice.
I didn't mute myself. No. It's.
Never mind.
No, you're fine. You stupid bitch. Brother killing swine. I swear. The rest of this place, we're going to tear it apart. Make sure no one else has to go through this. Experience any of Ugathora's stupid schemes. I don't know what you wanted when you found us, or why you took us, but I don't care if you're not here. But eventually, I'm going to find you again. And I'm going to bring you back, just to tear you apart. You aren't going to get the satisfaction of simply returning to your sickening desires. I don't care about Ugathora or anything else here, or the fact that you wanted to kill everyone. You
will know pain you caused me. It's coming.
Now, I can't imagine I roleplayed that as well as I'd like to believe, but that being said, she's doing all of this still while very furiously stomping on what I would believe to be a kind of ashy, dusty corpse, and probably making a lot of noise stomping on metallic objects as well.
That's gonna get all over your clothes, man.
I promise you, is not thinking rationally right now.
Shala has prestidigitation, it's fine.
I suppose that's fair.
Better than nothing for my poor clothes, yeah.
Or Ross kind of, completely understanding and recognizing this pain and not feeling entirely safe will come and try to stop you and get you to be a bit more quieter as you're telling her off.
How so? What are you doing?
I'll say, keep it down, keep it down. And if that doesn't work or get your attention, then I will try to physically, grab you and pull you back.
Alright, make a strength check.
Sorry, that was my wife attacking me. No, pay it no mind.
The strength check? What? Oh!
Really weak. I mean, I'm not, trying to physically stop you.
I want to see Freya roll lower. Damn it.
No! Freya's in a rage.
No, she's not having it. I imagine when you try to pull at her, she just pushes you away, possibly even into Cressida or something, and she's just continuing to kick at her body.
At that point, Miri will get involved, and she will come over and she'll put a hand on Freya's shoulder. Oops, I moved Cressida. Let me move her back.
Poor Cressida.
I'm sorry, she's getting tossed around. She'll put a hand on your shoulder, and she'll say very gently, I think it's now time to move on.
She hesitates a bit, and you can see she stops kicking at the corpse.
And as you do that, she will cast Sacred Flame on the body to immolate it.
Okay, I mean, it wouldn't target me technically, so I'm not gonna say she gets caught on fire. But
no, and it's radiant damage anyways.
Yeah, there's not a lot of body. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sacred Flame hits the dust and kind of almost like a flash burns it, as well as several small what look like rolled up pieces of parchment.
There goes the plot.
Listen, man.
I mean, I did say that, not to burn
You
corpses
did.
before
We got a look at them.
Muri's real heavy-handed with the fire, so...
I mean,
Before she starts burning literally everything else, Amelia's gonna go over to the what's-his-nut, who never actually had any important lines. I guess he just was a background character or something.
I know, what a fucking kick in the nuts for this dude. He was the head doctor of this secret thing, and he dies in total obscurity, having failed his dex check miserably.
Sucks to be him, that's for sure.
I know.
Yeah. But Amelia's gonna look over his shit.
Sure. So you find quite a bit, actually. His name, you find in the notes that are on him, was Rainier Devalis. You find several things on him. You find a button key, which is like one of the levers that you need for the lift. You find an iron key. You find a small brass key. A very graceful, fancy, yet very light looking chain shirt. Some sort of amulet that looks to be magical. A flask looks to be magical. A potion of some kind, though the potion does have a label on it, and the label says elixir of true healing. You find a rapier that does seem to emanate magic from it as well, and probably most importantly, you find notes, extensive notes on him, rolled up in parchment and sealed in a leather tube. You find quite a bit. This is almost a personal journal of his. And within it you find that his name was Rainier Devalis, that he was a trained physician, but was actually an agent for some sort of organization that you've never heard of called the Crimson Mantis. And you find lots of notes, well, not lots, but notes on the Blood Veil. Very good notes. Notes that talk about its potency and how to breed it and how it was made. Notes about how 1 in 20 Varisians seem to have some form of immunity to it, and how they're getting closer to determining what that immunity was, so that they can determine how to make even more powerful versions of the Blood Veil. And on one of the pages of the notes, it seems much more like a personal journal. He talks about his time here in the Blessed Maiden, working under Andiason and Rolth, about the tensions that seemed to be between the two, how it was never quite certain who was in charge, and how over time he became more afraid of Rolth than he did of Andiason, even though that both of them terrified him. And he had a sneaking suspicion that Rolth, while here to help them with the Blood Veil, had ulterior motives, though he couldn't tell what they were. Ross, by looking over these notes, you can tell, while there are pieces missing, certainly, using these with your brother's notes, you could go a long way into developing some sort of cure, especially now that you know 1 in 20 Varisians have an immunity, and seeing steps towards learning what that immunity is. You're not there yet. You might, with these notes, you might be able to make a cure in a few months. But the city doesn't have a few months. And there's a few components, a few pieces of information. If you could find more, your time could be reduced greatly. You see what I'm saying? Like, you now kind of know what you need to do, but it's a matter of how much work needs to be done to get there.
Sure. Okay. In knowing that, I'll kind of mention that to the rest of the party. Like, don't burn anything else, and I need more information, more notes. If you guys find anything,
at Muiri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at let me see. Flame-like radiance falls from the sky on the target creature.
Well, I mean, if you're using it to burn bodies, I'm sure it can burn paper.
Yep.
No, it's specifically radiance because they're undead.
But you can still
She's
a
not
living
trying to
creature
set
with
anything else on.
Right, but here's what I'm going to say, is that Sacred Flame can still hurt those that are undead. I'm going to say this. You as a player and as a character were attempting to set things on fire. I'm more than fine letting you do that, but you got to take the goods with the bads on that.
Okay.
But that being said, Freya, who still was stomping on it, will very slowly turn to Muiri, and she'll meet your gaze, And she'll say, "And what would you have me do?"
And
Where you
Moira
go?
will very carefully, she'll kind of lean down and she'll pull Freya into a hug.
I think Freya, while you've kind of pulled her into a hug, she'll put her arms around you, and you'll hear and probably notice a bit as she stomps the ground again, because she still stomps the body a bit out of anger. But she'll squeeze a little bit tighter, and she'll probably start crying a bit, and her voice will get a bit shaky. Well, listen here, who's turning my token?
And Dice in Form 3, here we go!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't
It's
even
Final
do it.
I'm
Fantasy up
sorry,
in here!
That was me. I was just trying to move my.
No, you're fine.
Screw.
It just really distracted me.
Could you imagine, like, me running encounters like Final Fantasy with his, like, 8 forms to bosses?
Please, God, no.
I mean, if each of them had single digits for HP, I don't mind.
Sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, Moira will very gently run her talons through Freya's hair and say very quietly, so that only Freya can hear, "There is no shame in still holding love for those who hurt you. I know what she was to you. And even still, I am sorry for your loss."
She, in a very shaky tone, says, She wasn't anything to me. She just was his caretaker. But she abused him. Did things to him. She
hurt you
killed
both.
him.
She hurt you both. And what she did was unforgivable.
Why? Tell me. Since you know more about this than I do. Why do people pursue this path? And Diasons, I mean.
Moiri kind of sighs, and if anybody's looking at her, you can tell in that moment that she feels her age. And she says very quietly, "That is a mystery of life I don't think I will ever understand." The hearts of others who pursue such evil are mysteries to me. I cannot tell you why. I can only tell you this time.
She kind of softly nods, and I think she'll just kind of bury her head in your chest a bit, crying still.
Moiri will hold her as long as she needs.
You might be there a bit.
That's okay. She raises orphans for a living.
Yeah, I know.
She's gonna, like, walk away?
Well, to be fair though, right? You don't raise orphans in a dungeon. But...
No, but she's surrounded by people she trusts. And you know what? Even if this was someone who hurt you, this was still kind of a guardian figure to you.
Yeah. Terrible mom.
Uh-huh. but a mom nonetheless. So comfort is in order.
I think she'll be a bit more quiet though. If you guys are wanting to search the room still.
While you all are doing that, Ria's gonna just walk over here and sort of just slide down against the wall and sit down for a while.
Yeah, everybody who wants to search the room quickly while Weary's distracted and can't set anything on fire. Both of our hands are occupied.
Well, I'll let you guys know. You pretty much found everything in the room. Not a whole lot of loot on catwalks.
Yeah, I mean, Ross would kind of look around and everything, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, does a 26 get me anything extra?
Those vats are really, really potent. Like, your eyes start to water when you get close.
What I would be interested in knowing is if there is any way to dispose of what's in there safely.
With your medical checks that you made earlier, I'm not going to make you roll again. There is a couple of ways, of course, with magic. You know, you can think of teleporting them to a realm of nothingness, but probably more to the point, heat. Immense heat.
Okay, so we'd have to cook them for an extended period of time.
Cook them for an extended period of time, hit them with something very hot and fast, but yes, heat, extensive amounts of it, would break down the plague inside of it.
Okay, that's just something I wanted to keep in mind because I will be coming back for these. I don't want to see where these are going. Are there any pipes leading to and from?
No, they look like storage bins.
Okay, good.
Like, would a flask of oil be enough? And then lit on fire?
Oh, alchemist fire?
Or just regular oil? I mean, I'm not sure what the vats are made out of, like what the solvent, the liquid in the vats are.
The liquid themselves are not flammable. So you would need enough oil, like, so basically it's not a matter of setting them on fire, it's a matter of heating them up to a certain temperature. Like a fireball would do it.
Yeah.
So a fireball would do it. A lot of flame spells would do it. Honestly, if you sat there for about 6 hours throwing flame bolt into one of them, you could probably do it. Setting a fire underneath them and cooking it would do it. But yeah, it's less a matter of setting them on fire and more of a matter of getting them to a boiling point for extended period of time, or, you know, hot and fast, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could use them to make like a vaccine.
Well, is it like bacteria or virus? I mean, you want to kill it and then
No, I'm just speculating. I'm not planning on doing that, but that's just a thought.
Let's
Look at
worry
Ross
about
talking
that
about
when
her
we clear the place
crazy
out.
germ theory again.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, there's tons of tiny animals in there. Like,
Everyone knows it's just evil spirits. Come on.
Yeah.
So there were all these beds in the other room, right? Were they made of like straw or hay or?
They were.
Set a fire while we're down here.
They were.
No, I'm not going to. I'm just.
Rich coming from me, I know, but
They were
still.
mostly wood, and so in the cultist quarters, they were mostly wood with like straw mattresses and satin sheets and stuff. The other ones, the you know, where the, I guess, patients, if you want to call them that, are more like wooden cots, but they are wood. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I could easily take apart later, after we're done, take apart the beds and set a fire under each of these.
Yeah, if you guys did a concerted effort, there's enough wood in here to basically set a fire, and the vats themselves do have space underneath them. The vats aren't, you know, just a big tube resting on the ground. They actually have like a support structure, so it is, with concerted effort, possible to light a fire under the vats.
But we won't do that right now. I've got other things.
But if only someone had a way to ignite fire. I just don't know if you have that.
Like a tinderbox?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You've got like 6 mages here.
Yeah, everybody here is prepared to set a fire at a moment's notice, and
But-
it's gotten us into trouble.
But to answer
You
your
say
question, Sib, yeah, it would take a few hours, but you could do it that way, and you'd be fairly confident that if you could keep it burning long enough, you could make him inert.
Cool.
You say that though. I know one person who doesn't want to make a fire in this Cressida.
By the way,
She's just
Yeah.
So much.
By the way, can everyone besides Rhea roll me a Constitution check, please? A saving throw.
Oh.
God, yeah.
God,
I was
I
about
mean,
to
I
say
was
I-
kicking her body.
It's
That's
not
okay.
like you're standing in the epicenter of the blood veil or anything. Interesting.
Hold on. What is it? Con save?
Constitution saving throw.
I felt really left out until I realized it was a con save.
Yeah.
Oh, I did a constitution check, so add, an extra 3? So my 19 for
Gotcha.
22.
All right.
Oh,
Can we roll one for Shala and Cressida as
yeah,
well?
I gotcha.
Oh, I got Cressida. My bad.
Yeah, roll for your girlfriend.
Cressida's staying strong.
Cressida is just really, I mean, maybe that's why she hasn't fallen to Bloodville yet. She's just really resistant. Actually, you know what?
Both of those are also +4.
Maybe, maybe Cressida's got a little Varisian blood in her. Who knows? But holy crap, she's been rolling like rocks on those Constitution rolls. All
It
right.
explains the tan.
So what do you guys want to do next? You're fairly confident there's not much else in this room except the doors.
I think a bit after she's calmed down a bit, Freya will bag her mother's belongings for now, because she'll want to look at them later. But it's kind of hesitantly, but I mean, you know.
Moira will make a disgusted face and instruct you to wear gloves.
And Uras will kind of stop you because she wants to check some of the items. Like the potions first for using Identify as a ritual.
Right. And well, if we want to do it now, then Freya will help you, because she could also do that. But in response to Mori, she would say, yeah, that's a good idea. And then she'll pull out some black, probably laced gloves.
Cressida will look around and she'll say, so, what's left? Those are the vats of Bloodvale, right? So we destroy them and we're done.
No, I don't think we are.
There's still people down here.
According to the notes, Rolth is around here somewhere. According to this guy's journal.
Rolth.
He's the,
I remember you speaking of him, but only in vaguely. What is Rolth? Why is he so important?
He's Gatrin's son.
And
Cressida.
this, I believe, and Moira will gesture to the blood veil, is of his doing.
She sighs. Right. So one more bad guy to bring in. And she'll take a look at all of you, and you all have to look tired. Even those of you who weren't really hurt, a lot of you are spent. I always imagine in Dungeons and Dragons, even though it's not really discussed, once you start running out of spell slots, you are tired. I mean, casting magic has to take a toll on you. It's not like you can just burn through all your spell slots and be fine as rain. I imagine that there's a certain physical cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you would all look wiped. And she would nod and she would go, if this Rolth is anything like she was, we need rest or we will die. At least some of us.
We're not. I'm not willing to sleep down here at midnight. Honest.
Hmm. Yeah, well, a bit shallowly turn to look at you while probably still in the middle of identifying some of the items. But she'll say, I'm spent. I can't cast much more. If you need me, I won't be very useful, at least until I get some rest. And not just for a few minutes, I mean for a night.
Cressida says, you want my advice? We're underground. Bar the damn doors. Stand guard at this one. If he's in here, he's not going anywhere unless he gets through us.
I agree with
And
you.
as if in agreement, the giant guardian who you are standing in the middle of, very gently raises the sword and shield and lowers them onto the ground in like this. It's just kind of it shakes the floor a little bit.
I think we should actually back up to this other outer chamber behind the Guardian. We've already looked at everything else downstairs. We know that if there's anybody still here, they're in front of us.
It's also worth noting that I believe some of the Parisians said that that vampire was here. Not just whoever this Roth person is.
And we are still missing one Parisian.
Shala's...
Said Shala.
Yeah, Shala's mouth tightens. If... I think we have much to talk about, but I will say this. That vampire is excessively powerful if anything he said was true. I want to save Rolth. I'm sorry, not Rolth, good lord. I want to save Rune more than anyone. But I don't want you to die in the process.
Oh, I think Freya will look back over, and she'll say, "Oh, you think he'll make it if we just wait a night? We'll be fine if we can get some rest, but if not, then we might have to act now."
Shala, has her hands clenched to her chest. It is a terrible thing to consider. Weighing one life over another. Which would be more painful to me? The death of one dear friend, or many? And she kind of closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. We do not even know he is alive. I do not want to sacrifice more than has already been sacrificed.
I mean, if we keep going, you said already you were out of spells. If we keep going, we're just walking through that door into death.
Cressida will turn to Aras. You know Rolth? Well?
Yes.
How strong is he? I mean, Could we take him?
Actually, how well would I know roll?
Well, not as well as some other people.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Squee, should I like roll something to see like how much?
No, not you.
just
Ross, I'm gonna make roll, not you.
Okay.
And I want Ross to roll first because what I say might just apply to both of you.
Gotcha.
Okay. What do you want me to roll?
Roll an intelligence check. We'll think of it more like how much did Ross pick up?
Yeah.
20.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
Okay.
20.
So this will go to both of you for different reasons. Ross, you didn't meet Rolth too much, but a little bit. You heard the discussions between him and your brother, and you gained some insight. And Amelia, I mean, you saw a lot of what he did. And you know that Jolastina, what she did was because of him. Rolth is a very powerful necromancer. He delights and specializes in creating abominations of undead flesh, and is not only a powerful caster, but also powerful at creating enchanted items, like the raised dead wand that Jolastina used, that was far more powerful than what you would normally see. Is he stronger than Endiason? Hard to tell, but you have seen him do some amazing things. And I mean, amazing and terrible.
Well, I know him well enough to know my brother didn't want me anywhere near him. He didn't trust him. And by the looks of this and what I read in that guy's notebook, I'd say my brother is right.
And Cressida will nod. Well, it's your call. I'm not going to back down from a fight, even if that means losing some of us.
Cressida, you don't look like you're in good enough shape to make it across the room right now.
I've been better, I'll be honest. Not every day you fight a priestess of Ugathor.
Amelia is finally going to speak up and say, wherever he is, regardless of whether or not that vampire is with him, he's not going to be alone. He is very good at what he does, and what he does is create. Gods only know how many monstrosities he's going to have in that room.
Cressida, who's kind of been... well, here's a question. Ross, you had the notes, right?
Sure, yes.
Would you have been sharing them or reading them to everyone, or...?
Yes, I would have been kind of mumbling out loud as I read through them.
And Cressida will go, well, if this idiot, and she like kicks Devalis with her boot, has the right of it, he apparently may have had ulterior motives. Would you two know what he was talking about? Did he seem like the type of person to unleash a plague?
He definitely seemed like it. I mean, just from my brother's notes before, like, I'm just going off of like what I remember. It was that in the notes before, Rolth was using magic and corrupting my brother's research and using it for something bad. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. But like, how much would I know? I mean, like, player knowledge versus character knowledge.
You know that he was trying to develop, your brother was trying to develop a non-magical potion of healing, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rolth was trying to use dark magic to supercharge it, though you don't know what his end goal was, only that he was trying to alter it through dark magical means.
Okay. I mean,
I will say,
but...
and I will say, Amelia, you would know he's never shown any devotion whatsoever to Ugathor, or any god for that matter. He's a necromancer, or a wizard, not a cleric of any kind. Not that that doesn't mean things can't change, but in your dealings with him, he never showed an allegiance to any sort of deity.
Ross will also mention, the last time we ran into a member of the Lamb family, it didn't go so well. I got quite a bit shorter. And Maury and Amelia, you guys didn't do much better either. I know it's Rolth and not Gadrian, but I'd rather not rush headlong into something and be completely unprepared again.
This isn't something we can take a chance on.
Right, Cressida says. So, get behind the door, barricaded, watch it in shifts, get our strength back. I'll take the first watch.
I think you definitely need to rest. I wasn't even touched in that last battle. I'll take the first watch.
Cressida begins to protest, and then stops and actually kind of looks down and chuckles and goes, sounds like something I'd say to my men. Alright, Ross, you win.
Muiri will gesture to the giant guardian sitting in the middle of the room. I will take first watch. You should find a place to sleep that's relative.
Amelia, you have a plus sign?
Yes. Would Amelia be able to ritual cast alarm on all 5 of these doors?
What's the range of alarm?
20-foot cube.
No.
What if I ritual cast it a shit ton of times?
You can only cast it once. It resets whenever you cast it again.
I can also recast it.
God damn.
But if we go back to just backing up to this other room right here, we would only need to cast it in this front entrance cube right there, because there's nothing behind us.
Yes.
The other thing is, if the if the guardian lasts for 8 hours, and I don't believe it's concentration, is it?
Nope.
Then even if she goes to sleep, I can't talk, I'm sorry. It'll still be there. So if something tries to sneak up on us, it's gonna have to make a dex save, and I can't imagine it's gonna be particularly quiet when it makes a dex save. Like, the guardian's gonna attack it, right? Which is not quiet. We'll all wake up.
Yeah, it's gonna make noise.
I'm not saying don't cast alarm. Go ahead, but we'll be fine. Is what I'm thinking, because it'll be there the whole long rest.
Okay.
Or like maybe it'll be there 7 hours and 30 minutes of the rest, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Alright, so then I'll go ahead and ritual cast alarm in the middle of the guardian, I guess. And then she's gonna go grab a pillow and a blanket.
Ooh. Be careful. Muiri will come into this room and kind of dust herself off. And this is the room where, like, there's lots of, like, mangled pieces of undead that are, like, set into the walls.
There's
Correct.
also
Correct,
a lot of
yes.
corpses.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is just a straight up like glass casing full of live undead.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's about to take care of that. You see her eyes kind of glint with determination, and her hands glow with golden fire, and she starts methodically moving through the room, destroying the undead.
Did we have a chance to search?
Are you able to do that through the glass? Or is that just gonna shatter it?
It would shatter it.
Well, if she uses channel divinity to destroy them, it wouldn't shatter
Well,
it.
here's the thing. I will say this though, Murray. These undead are I'm not going to say harmless, but certainly not in a condition to be combative. They are, for whatever reason, docile, to where if your intent is to destroy them, given a bit of time and effort, you might have to shatter some of the casings and all that, but it's not like you're going to shatter them and they're going to attack you. These zombies are just kind of out of it. Zombified, one might say.
Oh my god.
So, destroying them won't be a big problem, even if you do have to shatter the glass.
Yeah, so she's essentially taking first watch, and she's moving through this room, and she is destroying the undead, and then that will probably take her a little bit of time, and then she will very carefully line up the bodies of the deceased humans, and
well, isn't that also inlaid into the ground?
No, when we first came in here and triggered like this door trap here, there were all those cultists and zombies and everything that were back here that we fought. It's like all their bodies.
There's
are
like
on
hella dead people back here.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of clear up the area, move them to like the cultist bedroom or the
Well, no,
sick people.
Because if I'm remembering correctly, Squee said that the glass cases full of undead were also it was along the walls and along the ground.
Oh yeah, there were a
Which
few.
means you're going to have to break the ground.
Well, not the whole ground. It's like, think like, here. You know what? I'll make it easy for you. So think like okay, that didn't work. Which is it? Is it this square? Yeah. Think like this square and this square and this square are like a glass roof with a zombie underneath. So it's not the whole ground by any means.
Okay, gotcha. I was thinking like a fucking mosaic of bullshit.
No, think of it more like looking down upon underground cells. Okay, there's only 3 or 4 of them, yeah.
Even considering all of that and still all of the corpses from the people that we fought and everything, I think we're better off maybe sleeping in the cultist bedroom up here, since we didn't kill anybody up there, and as far as I know, it's just like skulls or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's just creepy skulls in the wall, which at this
as
point,
opposed to like writhing dead corpses.
Yeah, at this point is an improvement.
Yeah, so Muiri is keeping herself busy for the first couple hours while she takes the watch.
All right.
And then when she is done and all of the bodies are released, I think she might actually drag them. Well, she probably isn't going to exert a whole lot of effort because she doesn't really like these people, but she'll at least line them up on the floor so that they're somewhat respectful. But
gotcha.
She's not going to do much more than that. And then she will put her back against these double doors and sit there.
Okay, fair enough.
Ross will be up the whole time and probably helping Muiri. And then
Who is actively trying to shoo you away to go sleep.
Then once that's done, she's gonna go and start identifying some of these magical items.
All right, so are you and Freya going to be ritual casting Identify?
Yes.
All right, give me a second here. I think, I could be wrong, but I think, yeah, Shala also has Identify. So the three of you ritual casting, it would take about half an hour or so for you all
Amelia
to...
also has it.
Oh, well, then it'll only take about maybe 20 minutes or so to really get everything. So let's do this in order because, oh boy howdy, you guys got yourselves some interesting gear. First up, you have from Dr., if you want to call it that, Devalis, a +1 human bane rapier. This rapier, when attacking humans, this weapon deals +3 damage on a hit and +2d6 damage on a critical. And it's a +1 rapier. In addition to that, you have...
I have a question for you, Squee.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'd be the one using this, but does the +3 damage and the +2d6 on a crit stack?
+3 does... Well, actually, no. The +3 wouldn't because it's 2d6 instead of +3. But no, it actually even has in parentheses, does not stack. It does not double on a crit.
I was just curious.
So the +3 if it's not a crit, and if it is a crit, it's 2d6 it doesn't double. But still, 2d6 is really good. Against humans.
I agree.
The shirt, the chain shirt, is a +1 mithril shirt. Mithril is basically much lighter and harder than normal armor. Using this chain shirt does not impose disadvantage on stealth checks and can be worn under clothing. Let's see. What else did you get? You got an amulet of natural armor +1. This amulet, usually crafted from bone or bee scales, toughens the wearer's body and flesh, giving him or her an enhancement bonus to his natural armor bonus from so a +1. Basically, this gives you +1 to AC as long as you're wearing it by toughening your skin. By the way, all three, two of these, the Human Bane Reaper and the Amulet, are attuned items. What else do we have here? Yes. The potion is a remove disease potion. And last but not least, on him, you have a flask of curses. The flask that says Elixir of True Healing on it, actually, while looking like an ordinary beaker or bottle, you can tell after identifying it that when the flask is first unstoppered, everyone within 30 feet must make a DC 17 will save or be cursed, taking a -2 penalty on attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks until a remove curse spell is cast upon them. So, that would have been fun.
Squee, is that only if the stopper is pulled?
Correct.
Okay.
Or, if the bottle shatters or something of that nature.
Okay, so if the bottle shatters, then it still does the thing?
Yeah, if it's released. Correct.
Okay, so what the plan is, we take that, we chuck it at him. Huh?
Yeah?
Sound good?
I mean,
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I could
Yeah.
throw it with Mage Hand.
Perfect. Wonderful. Amazing.
What else do we have here? How about... Oh, I'm going to save that one for last. How about a breastplate +1? Just straight up. Just a breastplate +1. How about a potion of barkskin?
+4.
That's basically saying your AC goes up by 4 for whatever the duration of a normal barkskin would be, I think. Well, I think it's less than that. I'll have to actually look up the rules for potions, because barkskin's usually a concentration spell.
And barkskin is kind of weird. It just sets your AC defaultly to 16.
Right. So, well, keep in mind this stuff is converted from Pathfinder, so just treat it as Spark Skin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want all of these AC items. Holy
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
How about
only one of them can I even use, and I don't want it. You can have
a
it.
headband of inspired wisdom? This simple bronze headband is decorated with intricate pattern of small green gemstones. The headband grants the wearer an enhancement bonus to wisdom of +2.
Okay, throw that at the cleric.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if she'll wear it though.
A cloak of resistance +2. These garments offer magical protection in the form of a +2 resistance bonus on all saving throws. And again, these items both require attunement. 2 more to go. A belt of mighty constitution. This belt, whoever wears it, gives you a +2 bonus to your constitution. Also requiring attunement. And last but certainly not least, a +2 vicious scythe. The scythe can be used to make trip attacks. If you are tripped during your own trip attempt, you can drop the scythe to avoid being tripped. And it also has the vicious property, meaning you add +7 to a critical hit.
Oof.
Dude.
This is some good shit.
Yeah.
Is that a finesse weapon?
No, it's a two-handed scythe.
Definitely strength, yeah.
It's two-handed melee, yeah. You can't wield it with one hand unless you're a large creature. But,
Never mind then.
but, probably pretty expensive.
Yeah, because we're really hurting for gold, man. Oh
I am. I want that full plate materia stuff.
no.
And that is it for the magical items.
Right. So for the mithril armor, that still counts as light armor, correct?
Chain shirt, yeah, is light armor, correct.
Okay.
So the crazy thing about mithril and why I don't care too much for it in 5th edition is mithril light armor doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. I mean, the whole point of mithril armor is that it doesn't give you disadvantage on stealth checks, but light armor doesn't give you disadvantage on stealth. So it's, for you, it's more of a flavor thing. It's very pretty, it's very light, it's very comfortable.
So sell it is what you're saying.
I mean,
Unless
it's
somebody has
good
AC,
armor.
they can boost with it.
It's good armor you can wear under clothes, which there are sometimes reasons for that. But would you normally wear it into a dungeon? Probably not. It'd be like the difference between Rhea walking into a party with that on and full plate mail.
Right.
Are you saying I wouldn't wear full plate to a party?
You could wear full plate mail if you want. That's
I'm
up
not
to
saying
Rhea.
that. He may be saying that, I'm not saying that.
Well, I don't think you could deny her the right to do it. It just means she might get in trouble.
Right.
So is it medium armor or light armor?
It's a chain shirt, so it's light. A chain shirt as opposed to chain mail.
Chain? I thought no. Chain is medium.
I mean,
it chain
on
shirt? Hang
all
on.
the information it says medium armor.
Oh, well, yeah, what am I thinking? Yes.
Okay.
So, give me a second here. Let me just find chain shirt.
Which means I don't think very many people are able to wear that in their party.
And the ones who are already have better stuff.
AC wise, that's correct.
Yeah.
But the breastplate, if one of you guys has decent dex, could be better than what you're wearing.
I mean, I have medium armor, but the issue is the penalty to deck, the max dex.
Yeah.
So.
And the breastplate doesn't do much for me because I have a 10 dex, so.
Yeah, it was if you had good dex.
You can always sell it. The fact that it's mithril will make it be more expensive.
Yeah, boy.
Mithril. Sorry, I
Mithril.
always think of Bilbo whenever I hear that word. So yeah, so, a few trinkets here and there.
Nothing special.
Oh, and by the way, thank you for posting that. Where'd you get that description for a barkskin potion?
don't know who posted it.
The internet.
Sure.
dndbeyond.com.
Perfect. It didn't have a duration on it at all?
Nope. It literally just says in the notes, bonus armor class buff combat consumable.
Alright, I'll figure it out. I'll see what's something fair. I don't think a potion should be concentration. I mean, I think that should be one of the advantages of potions.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
So
That's-
I'll have to put a hard duration on it.
I would, because, if you had a scroll of Shield of Faith, it would do the same thing. It would be +2 AC to someone and concentration. So I guess that makes sense.
Oh, you know what?
but-
No, that's a fair point. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I mean, otherwise you could just stack tons of concentration spells through potions. So we'll say it is concentration still.
Well,
So,
I think
yeah.
it depends on the tier of like magical item this is. If it's a common, then I would say concentration. Yeah.
Here's what we'll say. For now, if you were to use it in this session, I will call it concentration, and I will say it lasts 1 minute. After the session, I'll look up and see what other people have done. Sound fair?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for the moment, concentration up to 1 minute. +2 to your AC, which is still pretty powerful. All right. You get those identified pretty quickly. Takes you maybe half an hour total, as you all sit around. So, like, Rhea, you and Cressida are just sitting there watching. Is like they're just sitting there. Up. That's a +2 scythe.
Incredible. A bunch of nerds.
A bunch of nerds. Says Rhea, the one that's like, I want that one and that one too. So feel free to pass those out as you will. All the magical items, other than just the +1 armors and the potions, are attunement, which means that you can only have 3 magical items attuned to you at any one time. So just keep that in mind.
Mind if I just call dibs on the cloak, since I already wear one, and this one's like probably cooler than mine?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Go for it.
So you can also click on it and drag it over to your inventory.
Oh, that is nice. I did not know that.
So whatever stuff you guys don't want, or I'll just take into Ross's inventory for selling or whatever.
Quick question, Squee.
Mm-hmm.
Does the materia stuff count as like attunement
No.
things?
No, it
Okay,
does not.
cool.
Materia items and armor do not count towards your attunements.
Awesome.
How do you pull it in? Like, you just pull it into your inventory section?
Yeah.
I will tell you though, Rhea, that obviously a lot of magical items don't have materia slots. Like that rapier doesn't have materia slots on it.
No, yeah.
There are some high level items that are magical and have materia slots, but not that you've come across yet.
Not too worried about that at the moment. I'm fine with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
I only have one attuned thing. Actually, I don't even think it needs attunement.
That's
I'll have to check.
interesting. One of the peeps in the chat said that there's apparently a table in the DM's guide where if you start stacking potions, bad things can happen. That might be a fun way to treat it.
I know that's definitely a thing that happened in like the earlier versions of D&D.
We'll see.
I love talking to my dad about that. It got so chaotic.
Yeah, we'll definitely
fun.
see. That might be more interesting to do it that way instead of just saying it's concentration. But for now, we'll stick with what's easy. But yeah, so pass those out as you will. And we'll kind of pull back into a more narrative space. First things first, Mwiri, roll me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Okay. You hear muttering in the room up above you, but not distinct enough to really know what they're saying. And you still feel the gentle rush of a breeze from the cracks at the bottom of the door. But that's all. For your entire watch, everything is quiet and calm. So, we'll pull out into a more narrative stance. Anything anyone want to do, discuss, anything of that nature?
I was gonna talk item strategy for a sec, real quick with the party. If you're okay with that.
Absolutely not. I don't like my players being optimized.
No, sorry,
of
guys.
course, by all means.
You're supposed to be resting, that means no talking.
Lights out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just to take care of it real quick. Wisdom headband. I think we're all fine with just throwing that at Mori because she keeps us alive, right?
Yeah.
That would give her a
Okay.
wisdom of 20.
Yeah.
Well,
The
there you go.
Constitution, I was
Ooh,
thinking,
bitch.
should either go to Rhea or the most fragile person in the party, which I think is Shala, just so when she does do something insane, like cast that ward spell on you, she doesn't die immediately.
God damn it.
So I would say either Rhea or Shala. Or anyone else who has a Constitution of 10, you know, because I don't know your stats. Let me see. The scythe, like, one person here can use it, they probably won't. That's Rhea. I think Weary can, but I can't imagine she would use it either.
I have an 11 strength, so fuck no.
The
You know, I think
flask,
we're gonna sell the scythe.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Flask of Curses sounds really nice utility-wise.
Yeah, honestly, I'm planning on just chucking it at Rolt's face.
Sounds like a plan.
Well,
So,
well,
Amelia?
if you want, I could chuck it with Mage Hand so we don't have to be close. If you have it too, then you could do the same.
We're just gonna have Rhea run up with it and just open it there. Right in his face.
You just you walk up to it like you're gonna offer him a drink. Oh no.
Jesus.
Well, let me ask you real quick, Sweet. How far would you let someone throw it with their natural like throwing arm?
I'd have you roll a strength check.
Okay, so if we want to be safe, maybe the Mage Hand person.
I mean,
Yeah.
I also
'Cause I-
have Mage Hand, but sure.
Okay, you have it too. I wasn't aware. So then we can throw that at Amelia. She knows what she's doing with all those weird dead things. Necromancer.
Amelia.
What are you talking about? I have no idea
She's just
about
a
any of
humble
this.
wizard.
The human bane rapier should go to the damage dealer melee wise, which is definitely the paladin.
I mean,
Whether she
considering
likes
she
healing people or
already
not.
uses a rapier, so...
Yeah, definitely the paladin. The amulet of natural armor, anyone who's in the front but has bad AC, so not Rhea, because I think we should balance it out. So Rhea will almost always have like 20 AC anyway, which might be throwing that at Weary for now.
What's
you're
Muriel's
okay with
AC
it.
right
Weary
now?
and I have the same AC.
Do you?
Yeah, Mori and Rhea both have
We
19.
both have a 19.
Well,
Okay, well then I guess give it to. Well, you guys should just fight over it then. Honestly, I don't
no,
know.
honestly, I think it should go to Rhea because she's just been getting fucking destroyed.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, so
they're both in the
that-
front constantly, so I wanted them both to have high AC. But if they're the same, then why not?
Yeah, and she, like I said, she's been tanking the most damage. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not like I
that's
went
fine.
unconscious for a second or anything.
I mean,
Or
having
two.
extra AC wouldn't help you against blight, but
I think you're all nuts. You should be giving everything you can to Cressida.
Absolutely.
you're
She
right.
can have it all.
In fact,
That's the
actually,
compensation for burning down the fucking house.
What kind
We'll
of
just-
armor does Cressida have?
She has half plate.
Is that...
I'm so
So,
jealous.
medium.
The circlet of whatever I'm wearing.
Yeah,
Yes.
the wisdom thing.
Yeah, the headband of
inspired
wisdom.
Okay.
Which is why Andiason's saves for wisdom were so bananas.
And if you drag it into your inventory, it will copy the properties and notes and stuff on it.
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you
So,
click on the little black dot.
So the cloak of resistance to Freya
That's what I wanted to take from
Do you
that,
want to
yeah.
trade and give someone else the other cloak?
The other cloak doesn't do anything. It's not magical.
Oh, but still, do you want to trade?
I think Moiri has.
Yeah,
the other
Moiri
cloak.
has the other cloak. That's right.
Yeah, she is the other cloak of resistance.
I'm just saying, it might look pretty swole on a Ross.
If Ross wanted it, she could have my old cloak.
I'm sorry, did you say it might look pretty swole?
Yeah, you heard me.
I was trying to
She's-
ignore that.
She's a dwarf.
I mean, I already have a cloak, thank you. It's got a bunch of patches that have sentimental value.
It's true. I'm saying
You know,
she's
there's like-
a dwarf. Just ask a Ross to flex sometime. It's crazy.
It's like
Oh.
my Girl Scout sash, you know?
Ross
This is
couldn't
the-
get open the sewer open.
I didn't say it was
I would
useful
open it.
muscle.
Scoy,
Yeah.
I want you to behold my intelligence saving throws. I will probably never use in this campaign. And
Plus
if I'm
one.
standing next to
Oh
a
my
Rhea, that's a
God.
29.
Holy shit.
Oh my god, that's true.
If I'm standing next to
Okay.
Rhea, nothing can get through
Those
that.
mind flayers will never stand a chance.
Okay, so I've just equipped that little circlet. Should I roll perception again now that I have that?
I mean, it would just be +1 to your perception.
Right, yeah, no, it wouldn't make a difference.
No, is it? Is
Yeah.
it only +1?
It's just a +1 bonus.
Well, also, you
But it's a +1
technically
to
wouldn't have it attuned yet.
Yeah, no, but think of it this way: it's a +1 to everything wisdom, like +1 healing, +1 to DCs against your spells, +1 to saves. It's pretty powerful.
It is a really good item. Same with the build of Constitution.
Speaking of, are we giving that to Rhea or someone else?
Well, Rhea, what's your current con stat?
My current constitution is... Where the fuck is it? It's 14.
It would be good on Rhea. I think that's a little bit up to you on if you want Shella to have more HP or not.
Well, think of it this way too. You're talking about 7 HP, so the true strength of the belt comes from the added save throws. I
That's
mean,
true.
don't get me wrong. 7 HP is 7 HP, sure, but you know when you guys are already up in the 60s and 70s.
Well, Shella's in like the 30s.
Yeah, she
but-
is.
Let's give it to Shala.
She very much
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had that written down as going to Shala.
I think it would profit Shella the most anyway, because she also, like, your con saves have to already be pretty good because you're a paladin. No,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
not
no,
proficient.
plus... Well, I mean, I do have that +4 always
You have
going, so I
+4
get +6
though.
right now.
So you probably won't drop concentration too often, versus her who has a probably like a +0.
Yeah, at the moment she's got 11 con.
So yeah, that would give her a +1 to her concentration saves as well.
Guardian Ward, here we come.
So the potion of bark skins.
Weary or Rhea.
Rhea. Cressida.
Or Cressida. Cressida has the same AC as them as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it to Cressida, because she's up in your face kind of fighter. And then, Rhea, do you want to take the other one?
The other who?
The other potion of bark skin.
There's 2? Oh shit,
Yes.
sure. I'm here for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna walk into this next fight with my 30 AC.
Potion of remove disease. Do you want to take that, Mori?
Weary is currently guarding the door.
No.
That's
oh,
fair. I mean,
oh, I'm sorry. If you said something to me, it cut out and I didn't hear it.
Oh, just the it's fine. I'll take it.
It's just the most powerful, potent magic item. I'll take it. That's fine. Here's the real question: who wants the 3 copper pieces?
That's already
Obviously,
in group loot.
I do. Oh.
Wow.
Sorry.
You just assumed that, Sib?
Well, I have a
Yes.
list of like the gold. I mean,
Also, Freya, do you want to get out of that room? I mean, you're the only one left. The doors are closed.
You know, I minimized the map. That's a good point. I never talked about what Freya did. But
She's still stomping on those ashes all alone.
Before she left, she would have gone back to stomp on them, yeah.
You bitch.
Fucking idiot. But, yeah, she'll leave.
I just
She'll
noticed
eventually,
that.
after finishing identifying everything, will go find herself a little spot in the room to just huddle up and sit there in contemplation.
Gotcha.
I would like to throw out also that Rhea does not touch anything on any of those beds and just pulls out her own bedroll and blanket.
oh, Ross like hands out blankets to anybody who needs them.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
I got supplies.
Freya's just kind of sitting there, looking at the cloak like, do I want to wear this? It's very powerful. I don't like the person who owned this.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah. I'll also pass out food rations if anybody wants any.
I'm sure we're probably all starving, even though we're all tired.
Yeah, Cressida will certainly take the up on that, so will Shala.
So,
Same.
Freya.
As as
Okay.
less than an hour ago, Shala almost died.
Less than an hour ago, a lot of people almost died.
Less than an hour ago,
I
think
think
that-
it was just Rhea and Shala that went down.
Yeah, I
You
think
know-
so.
I don't know how, but I think I'm the only person in this dungeon who's not taken damage yet. That's definitely gonna change. But
I could tell
somehow,
you.
please don't. Rhea's just like, you are red. I'm gonna fix that.
Annika
We can
and
change that.
Majinko haven't taken damage yet. Thank you very much.
Well, didn't Annika
I mean,
get
technically,
hurt
Annika
upstairs?
got bopped
Oh
before
wait,
we got into the dungeon.
yeah, that's
Like,
a fair
I mean,
point.
throughout
Never
the
mind.
whole thing, yeah.
Never mind. So Majinko and Freya.
Majinko as well, but Majinko's not in combat.
That's not my fault. I was gonna say neither's Freya. Oh, no, okay, just kidding.
Oh, I mean,
Wow.
Freya walk out.
Shots
with it.
fired. Pew pew pew. No. All right.
I'll take my lead.
Not that
So
hard.
here's what I will say. I would like everyone to roll me a perception check. We'll keep this simple. I'm not going to make you guys like, all right, who's going on watch next? Who's going on watch next? I just would like everyone to roll me a perception check.
Oh no.
Amelia. Oh no, Freya.
You guys.
Wow. Ross did okay with an 18.
Wow.
Am I rolling again or not?
Good guys. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
you don't need to roll again, Murray.
Okay.
All right.
Amelia, weak fucking link.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So
She's got a lot on her mind, man.
Freya too.
So, the night, and I'm not saying the night's over yet, I'm just going to get this out of the way first. The night passes by uneventfully. No one tries to come to the door. There are no attempts to break in. Aras, when you're on your watch, you think maybe you heard some laughter? Some laughter coming from way beyond the door, but it could have been the breeze too. No. No. You know that laughter. But that's it. Nothing else disturbs your peace. Now, you're all able... I'm saying this now so that you can all start doing it. You're all able to get a full rest. A long rest. In fact, watch this cool trick. I can give you all a long rest. Boom.
Holy shit, it's
Magic.
Everybody change around your spells if you think it'll help too.
Yes. You're
Oh god, yes.
No.
No.
Rhea does not think it will help. But I'm not saying that the night's already done. If you guys wanted any interactions or role plays or anything of that nature, I just wanted to get all this out of the way so that you could, so, you know, those who aren't doing something have something to focus on. So, that said, before you all bed down, are there any interactions or conversations you would like to have?
I think Freya is probably just sitting over in like a corner, very, very sullenly, just kind of waiting until she passes out, unless someone wants to talk to her.
I definitely have conversations I want to have, but I think they're better kept to not in an underground, disease-ridden place. So, I'll
All
hold
right.
off.
Anyone else? I have an interaction I'd like to do, but I would want to have the players go first.
But Ross doesn't have any interactions. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's gonna be a no from me, though.
All right. Amelia?
I mean, she's not really going to be talking to anyone. She's mostly just going to be, like, resting off in a corner with Annika, probably.
Gotcha.
Just chilling with the dead girl?
Yep.
So, speaking of that, I'll start with you and Annika.
Okay.
Amelia, your sleep is harder to come by because the entire time Annika is floating next to you, whispering, I can feel him. I can feel him. He has my ring. He has it. I need it. Amelia, you must kill him. Amelia, he's too strong. I need to run. I need him to die. And so on.
So, you know, just an average night's sleep of not. Yeah, that's pretty par for the course. Amelia doesn't really say anything in response after the first time. After Annika's just like, I need him to die, I need the ring, she would say, I know. And then she wouldn't respond after that.
You would remember that there was a very, very pretty ring of silver, of white gold, and a pearl on it that Annika was very, very fond of in life. Wore it all the time. It was a gift, actually, from your mother. Not the most expensive ring, certainly. And from your mom, it was a precious gift indeed.
I mean, considering that's white gold and
Yeah.
we're fucking poor, like, that's probably a family heirloom.
It was her wedding gift.
Oh, Jesus. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And you haven't really paid it much thought or mind. Maybe Amelia was jealous when it happened because Amelia never got anything like that. But when she talks about it, you're like, oh, there was that ring.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, sleep does find you. And at some point in the night, Rhea, Shala would awkwardly come to you and sit down like a few feet to your left and brush the skirts of her dress and just kind of sit there and stare at the wall for a while. And then she would say, I'm sorry for earlier.
For what?
I shouldn't have been so forward. It wasn't appropriate. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I had died, and I'm sorry.
Rhea will sort of sit up for a moment and just look confused for a full second, and then it's almost like it hits her. And she'll say, oh, no, you, It was nice.
Oh, it was? Oh, I mean, it was. Right. Well, right. And she, like, starts to stand up. Well, right. Well, good luck tomorrow, Ria. And, I can protect you now. So, I will. I promise.
Shala,
What? Yes? What? Like, she looks very flustered and kind of distracted.
about... I know the spell you used. It's one of the first that the paladins in my order learn.
Oh. And she, like, sits back down. She actually looks, like, a little disappointed. I thought maybe well, it was a really good idea.
It come in handy, but it can be extremely dangerous too.
Yes. I had not expected the effects to be quite so... Well, I'm prepared now. I understand.
Just... I don't want you to get hurt. Just be careful with it. Use it sparingly, if possible.
She'll look at you and nod. There are far worse ways to go. Good night, Ria.
Good night.
And she'll get up and go over to a corner. Hear Annika muttering, maybe go a little bit further into the corner. And that's all I got. 8 hours pass. Time impossible to tell underground. But you all rest, feel as refreshed as you can. Of course, you're sleeping on the floor in a dungeon, so, you know, it's not like you had the best sleep of your night. You've probably got some achy joints and not as much sleep as you would have wanted, but you're refreshed. Your hit points are back, your spells are back. You have a chance to prepare new ones if you like. And you're ready to set out again. Where your guardian will have passed, as it would actually have been about 9 hours or so.
Okay. About what I expected.
You actually see Cressida, like, doing calisthenics in the corner, stretching, getting ready.
Mary will manage to conjure a meager breakfast from the rations she had.
Well, I can pass out a whole nother set of rations if people want some.
Cressida shakes her head. No thanks. Fight better on an empty stomach.
You see, Moira gives like an irritated tutting noise behind her. The most important meal of the day, Cressida.
Ross is kind of like sitting in the corner fiddling with her coins, and when Amelia's up, she will head over and hand her one that's been infused with mage armor. And say, you know, I know it's gonna probably be really rough out there. You remember how to use this, right?
Yes, and she'll put a hand up, and kind of tucked into the folds of her big ass scarf is the butterfly that Ross had made for her. I remember. Thank you.
No problem. And then she'll go to Freya as well and ask, you know, do you need mage armor? I mean, I can cast it for you so you can save your strength for other spells.
When you walk over to her, she kind of turns over to you, and you can see she's muttering a bit, and you can tell she did not get very good sleep. But she's I'll be okay, but I'll take it if you're offering.
Okay. Yeah. So she'll hand you a coin that when you concentrate on it as an action, it'll cast mage armor.
Mm-hmm. And she'll kind of sit up a bit, and she'll say, "Thank you. Sorry if I'm not completely awake yet." Mage armor lasts for 8 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for a lot of like wizards / sorcerer characters, they just, I wake up, here's my mage armor, I go exploring.
Yeah.
Or that's 480 minutes for those of you non-hour users.
Excuse me?
Wow.
What?
Forgive me, I didn't realize people.
There's every types out there, Joe. Every types. I try to be
boy.
inclusive.
Should we convert it to seconds? As
Yeah,
well?
I was about to do the math.
All right, guys, come on. Let's not get ridiculous here.
6 times 8, so 400, another 480. No, but there's a 0. 4,000. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you all are attuned to any of your new magical items. You have full hit points, full spell slots back. Has everyone prepared any spells they need?
Yep.
All the smites.
All of I
Every
prepared
single one.
all of them.
All of my smite spells.
You see like the Gary Oldman from Professional. All of them! Alright. Anything else before you guys open that door back up?
I mean, besides, like, pray heartily.
Right?
I'm just gonna sit here and go through all of the items that I have. I can make sure that I'm using them.
Saren Ray just gives you a thumbs up.
Glad to know the backseat driver's here. What does she think of all this?
Thumbs up.
Gay.
She believes in you.
Does she?
So will you be like sitting down as you're doing this when you're praying?
She just kind of mutters prayers to herself while she walks.
Okay.
But yeah, she's probably one of the first up, so she'll start the morning that way.
So Ross will ask, you know, hey, what would be a good prayer to say to Saren Ray so that she's, you know, on our side? Like, Aras understands, kind of has seen people pray, but like has never actually done it. And So
So Mary will she'll say them a little bit louder so that they can do the call and answer. It's a short one, but it's just like, we might need help.
we will
Please
need
give
help.
me the strength to pull my own ass out of the fire if you can't do it.
Yeah. Soros will be, parroting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As everyone else finishes up getting their gear ready, you two say a prayer to Sarah and Ray. Miri, I was joking before, but roll me a D100.
Oh, okay.
No, you know what? No, you know what? Roll me a knowledge religion.
Oh, okay. That's probably better because I don't know how to roll the D100 here.
That's
picking
fine.
up 10. Knowledge religion.
You, as you pray, feel a warm glow within you, and you feel confidence. Sarah and Ray, you know it's her, reaching out ever so slightly to give her your blessing in the fights ahead. I would also like everyone except for Cressida, Shala, and Aras to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
So I gotta roll one?
No, not you, you damn
Okay.
paladin.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, yeah, great.
I did slightly better. Oh,
Awesome.
no.
No.
Poor diseased
Oh.
babies.
Oh no.
You're all, I'm assuming we would all be like bunched together though, so
Freya and Wiri.
+4.
Freya and Wiri, even with the +4, I'm sorry, but Freya and Wiri, you feel sick. You
I think I
feel
already was reacting kind of like that.
achy and nasty, and you now have 1 level of exhaustion.
Oh, Miri will cure herself if she feels sick.
Okay. Wiri does not have 1 level of exhaustion.
And I'm assuming she will make it very clear that if you start to feel sick, please come to me, because I also don't want. She doesn't want anybody leaving this dungeon or starting a fight with
Disadvantage on all skill
so.
checks?
Yeah. So, yeah, I can expend 2 level 2 spells too. Unless I want to just ritual cast
Well,
this.
I don't think Freya would explicitly state that she's sick.
Let
she
me
just
make a
looked
medicine
tired.
check to see if I can.
Yeah, sure, do that.
That's fine. Yeah, because she just would think she's just sleepy.
She looks that way all the time.
Yeah.
She does have, Freya's running a fever. Slight, but
okay.
there.
I can't cast Lesser Restoration as a ritual, can I?
No.
No, you can't.
Okay, so there goes 2 spell slots.
Yeah, no healing type spells are allowed to be cast as ritual, otherwise everyone would just short rest and fully heal and get rid of status effects.
Okay. Okay, you're fine. There you go.
Freya, you feel better on the outside.
Oof.
Yeah. She kind of sighs a bit when you cast it on her, and she's thank you. Definitely feel a bit lighter now.
And you guys got lucky. You could have wiped out of all Muri's level 2 spells.
Yikes.
Listen, did we really need to heal, though? I think the only time we need to worry is when Rhea gets sick.
Everyone's strength checks. No. Alright, so.
Okay, so apply your buffs now before we get going.
Yeah, the dungeon is yours to explore. Where would you like to go?
Freya will graciously use the coin given to her and apply mage armor.
Shala will also apply mage armor to herself.
Gotcha.
Amelia will also apply mage armor.
What?
Rhea will apply mage. No.
Yes!
Unfortunately, doesn't
fucking as
stack.
No, it does not.
I shouldn't say unfortunately. That would be broken.
That would be insane.
That would be busted as fuck.
You mean
Hey,
even
here's
more
plus
than
3 plate mail.
You mean even more than a paladin with divine protection and a bark skin potion?
Come
Real
on now.
quick. So the belt you said gives 7 extra HP?
Correct, because you're level 7, and it's basically 1 extra HP per level unless you have a feat that increases that.
Cool, let me just make a note of that in case we ever end up.
Yeah, so as long as you're wearing the belt, it's like retroactive. It gives you that 1 extra hit point per level.
Basically, it gives you plus 2 points to con, which gives you an extra total con mod, right?
Yeah.
So, which is an extra hit point per level.
Yeah, I'm just trying to adjust.
Unless
Which
you
for Shala will probably be extremely impactful.
unless you've got the feat that gives you 2 per level, then it would be very useful.
Now
That's-
she's at 43 hit points.
Hey.
The feat, it isn't 2 per level per con mod, it's just an additional 2 per level.
Oh, that's right. Never mind then.
Imagine a barbarian gets plus 10 per level.
Oh my God.
No, if he's high
That
enough level, he
would
gets
be
plus 14 per
incredible.
level.
It'd be pretty nuts. All right. Buffs applied.
Hey, I figured out how to change my armor without changing my armor.
You click on thing and just add
Alright.
on missile.
Level 7 now, I've got an additional 16 hit points, good to go.
Got-
I
Alright.
finally feel competent because I have a higher AC than Weary.
Did you take the amulet of natural armor?
Yes.
You guys see Rhea's skin look a little harder, a little more rigid.
What's your AC now?
20.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Rhea over here looking jacked.
Just wait until I cast Shield of Faith, and then we get haste, and then I use the bark skin.
Yeah,
Well,
that's 26 right there.
I don't think you can have both the bark skin potion and your own Shield of Faith on, but Weary could cast Shield of Faith on you.
Right, because there's concentration.
Yeah, they're both con.
But you
Or
could still
a
get
Ross.
26 AC. Or a Ross, that's also true.
Do it.
What? Let's wait till we get to the room, please.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Speaking
10
of,
minutes.
you all open the doors?
Yeah, Mori will poke her head in first. Can I roll a perception check beforehand? Just make sure. that-
Sure.
Can Ross actually check the doors for traps?
Yeah.
So
This is D&D. You can do what you want.
before
Within
people-
reason.
Hey Squee, how do I like multi-select shit? Because I did that before,
Oh,
and now I
sorry.
can't do it again.
Oh, that's an 18 because I have a plus 1 to that.
Well,
Good question.
Just change your wisdom stat to a 20 on your sheet, and it should take care of that.
I don't know.
Oh wait, never mind.
How'd
I
you do
got
it? How'd you do it?
I control. No, I shift clicked both of them. Yeah, I shift clicked Amelia and then Annika's tokens and oh nope, hang on.
Yep, that works. Okay, now we all just start doing it.
Oh,
Everyone
God.
moves.
Rhea grabs Shala, throws her back in the room. We'll be back.
Oh god. Oh no.
All right. Yes. So Ross, roll your
Yes.
check for traps.
Which is investigation?
Yes.
Okay.
You do not
12.
see any traps on the door.
Freya will also make her own check because I forgot to say I was aiding her. But
Sure.
essentially the same thing. There you go.
That's
Yeah.
much better.
Do not. Yeah, you don't detect any traps.
I'll do a paladin check.
Uh-huh.
Slam
Yeah.
into it. No.
Oh, jeez.
Check if there's any undead within. the door.
Murray, you open the door and stick your head in, and other than the pungent sting from the vats, you don't see or hear anything in the room. It's empty.
Okay, we will step inside. So which door do we want to go in first? Unless Squee's gonna spring a trap on me right now.
Nope.
In case I'll be a little bit mad. Okay.
I think.
Two
I do
traps.
find it a
No.
bit. I do find it a bit ominous that of all the sides with 2 doors, there happens to be one with just 1 door. But yeah, I would also say, based on how the room's designed, the doors on the far back right are probably of higher importance to do the location right.
Yeah.
Further away. I don't
We
know.
can check the top left one first.
Yeah, I think top left is where I would go personally. That's my vote. There we go.
Sure.
And then Cressida's like, "That's dumb. Let's go down." Okay.
I think we had a conversation about tanky people taking the
Yeah, I've just
as
checked
all of the squishy people
door
block the
for.
door.
Well, we're checking the door for traps, and then we'll
Yeah.
get out of the way.
Wait, let
Yeah, but I
Shala
mean,
go
like,
first.
Everybody else is.
There we go. Shala will help us check for traps. No.
God.
No. Wait, what? Wrong person. There we go. Okay.
All right.
I technically have the higher modifier. Do you just want to aid Freya in the
Yeah,
investigation?
I will aid
check?
Freya.
Okay.
All right.
And this is a check on the door for traps.
You don't sense or see any traps. It is
Okay,
also not
so
locked.
Freya, then, a bit under her breath, will say, "Door doesn't seem to be locked. It's not trapped either, at least not that I can discern. Rhea, Cressida, if either of you would like to take point."
Oh.
And she'll just get out of your way.
Okay.
Alright, she'll take a quick look at everyone, just make sure they're ready, and then she'll open the door.
You open the door, and let me describe what you see here.
Oh, good. Oh, good. There's multiple people in here.
An
Good.
elegant operating table dominates the center of this grim, definitely, laboratory. It's crossed with iron restraints and encircled by gore and blood. And there are various cranks and levers strewn around the table. And there are all kinds of alchemical accoutrements. Their contents appear extremely old. There are rusted iron tools, beakers of purpled glass, and deep pools of wax from countless melted candles. Towards the back of the room, you see 2 figures. One, a young man with brown hair hanging from shackles by his wrists, and the other, a very familiar form in very flamboyant clothes, deep in study of the person hanging. When the door opens, he turns around. Yes, what? Oh, well. This is rather embarrassing. As Archminos stands before you once again.
You hear Muri's irritated sigh from outside.
I didn't expect to run into you so soon, especially not in the middle of a temple for Ugathor. You must have really wanted to talk to me again. I'm honored, but quite unnecessary, I assure you.
Remind me, the man inside the room, not the vampire, right? Screw that guy. The man inside the room, Brune. Does he look alive, or did he say he was like hung like dead?
I don't know. Roll me a perception check.
Okay, let me do that. I might as well have the blood veil with my rolls. That's okay.
You can't tell.
Well then, Freya will lean her head over Rhea's shoulder a bit, and looking over at Rune, she'll say, "And of the man."
The man? Oh, yes. The man. A study, honestly. Marvelous specimen. Immune. Totally immune to the blood veil. Still been trying to figure that one out. His strain, if you want to call it that, is more powerful than most. Well, secrets. Suffice to say that I was interested in learning how the blood veil could be mitigated. And he kind of like looks like on his tippy toes, literally standing on his tippy toes, looking out there. I assume if you've gotten this far, then you've taken care of Endiason?
I'm trying to think of the term. I don't want. It's not exactly a grimace. It's more angry. Like she's kind of scowling at him, and she slowly, but very like affirmingly nods and says, "Yes."
Oh.
He sent her back.
At this point, Weary will step forward. Am I allowed to pass by both Cressida and Rhea?
Cressida would let
Absolutely not.
you. Yeah. Thought that might be it.
So here, why don't I switch places with Cressida? So I'm moving her over
Sure.
one, and I'll scoot in here.
So you see like Muri's head appear from the side of the door.
So Muri pokes her head in. Somehow you don't seem upset by the untimely demise of your illustrious leader, I suppose. She says leader with
Leader.
there's obvious air quotes, like she knows that's not the leader.
He
but...
like starts laughing almost hysterically. He goes, "Leader." Oh, she'd need quite a few more years under her belt to even think about trying to tell me what to do.
Figurehead, mascot, whatever.
None of the above. I was, shall we say, liaison to this whole operation. Purely innocent, one might even say. I didn't make the plague, nor did I spread it. In fact, I am here trying to find a way to mitigate it, if you can believe it.
I don't.
Well, I didn't expect you to. I'm kind of in an awkward situation. He holds his hands up as if like a, oops.
Freya,
go ahead.
I want to ask, because I'm going to make an insight check real quick. Just to the,
Yeah.
I'm trying to cure the blood veil. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Gabe.
Well, he is really hard to read, but Freya's been around people that have been hard to read before. You can't tell. He does not appear to be lying. He doesn't appear to have any reason to, as far as you can tell.
Then Freya will speak up, and she'll say, "Why? Why? If you are here, then surely you have some connection to Ugathora. Or Ndiason or Rolf or someone else. Why would you want to cure the Blood Veil?
Oh, sweet little child. I didn't say cure. I said mitigate. Slight difference there. Suffice to say that this plague is rather potent, and there were some concerns with interested parties that it might spread a bit too far. Consider it an insurance plan in case it ever reached other places.
She looks at him fit and kind of gives him a slow nod, but then says, "Right. Well, I know a place that could really use that insurance. So, we'll be taking your findings."
Oh, will you?
And Weary will kind of prod Rhea. And they
Prod Rhea and what?
and ask her to kindly move.
She'll look at you, and for an instant, her face hardens, and then it returns to how it was, and she'll just barely step aside.
Gotcha. Weary will come inside. You are the least of my concerns.
Oh, pleasure to meet you again. You were the interesting one to talk to. I do
Well, I'm
admit...
so very glad to hear it.
I do admit I wish we were meeting on better circumstances. Your friends seem quite, concerned with this young boy over here.
Am I permitted? And she'll give kind of a sarcastic half bow to make sure he's at least breathing.
Oh, my dear sweet bird, you are encouraged. Look,
And
but
as
do
soon
not
as he
take-
does that in the middle of his sentence, she just
Sure.
stands over him.
Yeah, and as you're doing that, he holds up a finger. Look, but do not take. I do not wish bloodshed. I truly don't. The last thing I want is to, well, make the world a lesser place with such interesting people in it. But I
And
will
as
if
soon
you
as she
force me.
confirms that, as soon as she confirms he's alive, she'll call Shala.
Shala, steps past Freya and up to where Rhea is. Rune!
He's alive.
And with that, our Camino's eyes light up. Young Valentine. A pleasure again, my lady. How's the family? Shala ignoring him. Rune! Can you hear me? Well, my darling bird, is he well?
Well enough, having been hung by his wrists.
You also see, track marks of injections and things of that nature on him, but overall, he's okay. No serious damage.
And she'll turn squarely to face him. I have no intention of fighting you. I have every intention of fighting you and killing Rolf.
Roth. Well, first Ndiason and now Roth, you are overachievers, aren't you? Interesting.
Call it a curse. What are the chances that we can take this one with us? And she'll jerk a thumb over her shoulder. I'm afraid he's got some very interested friends who would like to know about his whereabouts.
He'll look at you and then to the door.
And in return, you leave unimpeded.
Unimpeded, you say? Little bird, don't get too full of yourself. I am no Ndiason.
I have no thought in in my mind that we're little more than ants on the ground to you. Yes, I know.
No! Nonsense! You are dear and precious people who, as much as I could, would really rather not snuff out. You want to make a deal? I can do that. Though keep in mind that this man is very valuable to me. Giving him up will set me back quite a spell. In fact, I probably have to leave. Are you into making deals? I'm so sorry. I have been amiss. You know my name, but I am unaware of yours.
She'll narrow her eyes at him. You may call me Wea.
Wea. Roll me a deception check.
She's taking no pains to hide that this is not.
Sure. Go ahead and do it. Clock's right twice a day.
Deception with my +0.
Aw, snippy snap. 10. Alright. He goes, Wea. Yes. Mistress Wea, are you into making deals? The non-violent kind?
She'll glance him up and down frankly, and no, but extenuating circumstances do present interesting options.
Yes, it would indeed. So, here's my dilemma. I give you this lad, I walk away without slaughtering all of you and drinking your blood, and that causes me actually quite a bit of, well, trouble. So, to make it worth my while, I will call upon you at a time of my choosing to do a favor for me. Now, I don't expect you to accept a favor you don't understand or know. That would be, what's the word? Dishonest? So, I'm going to give you a special item, and your magical friends can use their little magic on it as much as they want. That's fine. I have no reason to hide it from you. This item is quite simple. It allows me to transport myself to your location at any time of my choosing, once and only once. And when that time comes, I will transport myself to you, whenever that may be, and I will have a task for you. And you will either accept the task, or we will end up killing each other. And his eyes actually grow from mirth to seriousness.
And Muri blinks slowly, and her eyes are deep black, and she says very quietly, I have no doubt about it. There are conditions, there are certain things I will not do, simply because I am who I am, and I can manage that.
Oh, I can feel it on you. Who is it? Tempest? Sarenrae? You radiate goodness, so much that it hurts to stand next to you. I know what kind of soul you are. That's what makes it so interesting. You take my item. Before this deal goes through, have one of your friends identify it to ensure that I'm not lying to you. And then, well, when I call, you can always say no.
Muri will stare at him. And let me make a quick insight check.
Sure. he is hard to read most of the time. Right now, his emotions are as open as a book. He is telling the truth, and he is loving every second of it.
Mary will blink slowly once more. I reserve the right to cast my own judgment at the time that you call upon me.
As I said,
I reserve the right to restrict your calling upon help to me and me alone. The others, should they choose to join, may, but they are not bound by this.
his eyes widen and a smile grows. Oh, you are interesting. Very well. My task will be paid by you and you alone, and if you say no, I will murder you and you alone, unless, of course, your friends get in the way. I am quite happy with that arrangement.
Then, with conditions applied, I accept. She will open her hand for the item.
Excellent! And he'll reach up and take off a golden hooped earring and place it in your hand. Well, I'm off. Very many things to do. Good luck with Roth and his golems. I'm sure you have it all figured out. And with that, his body slowly starts turning transparent. And then into a mist. And then
Mori sits there for a moment, just looking at the thing in her palm.
And the mist disappears into the walls. As
She closes
Archminos.
her hand around it.
And Archminos is no longer there.
And you see Muiri's body just, she takes a deep breath, like the kind of deep breath that's so deep it hurts your lungs. And when she breathes out, it's unsteady. You can see her shaking.
You hear
And she
Shala from
looks
behind.
She looks over to Ruan and she says very quietly, probably only Rhea could hear her, and she says, I do hope you're worth it. Now come, let's get you out of here.
You hear him murmur something unintelligible.
As soon as Doucheman's gone, Rhea will rush forward and start unchaining Ruin.
Shala will as well. Ruin! Is he...
Does he have... Well, do I need to roll a medicine check for him just to make sure that he's... To see what condition he's in?
Yes, please.
Okay. Because if I need to cast magic on him to heal him, I will.
Would I be able to roll as well?
Yeah, of course. Alright, give me 1 second here. Let's see if, Oh, no. He doesn't seem too badly hurt. He's unconscious, but not drugged. He has track marks in him, but no real wounds. As unethical as this treatment is, certainly, and as, despite the welts on his wrist from the shackles, he seems to have been treated in a way that was not causing him great harm. Physically, at least.
Gotcha. And Rhea and Shala both are close enough that they can see that as Muiri checks him over, her hands are visibly trembling.
And as you're checking him over, his eyes will start to open. Ooh. Shala? What are you doing here? You have to go.
Alright,
You
child.
all have to. And he starts to stand up or try to.
And Mary will gently put a hand on his shoulder. It's all right, child. We're here to help.
No. No, 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 no. He's here somewhere. He's somewhere.
We know.
And he just starts looking around wild-eyed. Shala, who? What's happening? Oh, Shala's not responding, by the way. She's like, well, she is. She's giving like comforting words. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay. It's all right. These are friends.
We're
And
here to get you out.
he'll eventually nod and he'll say, the others, there's others.
They
There.
have
Gotten them out.
taken care of.
But he wouldn't have. How?
She looks at him She looks at him and says, "Do you refer to the vampire or Rolf?"
The vampire. I've heard of Roth, but only seen him a couple of times.
The vampire. Well, I cannot say that he will not be back, but for now he is at least not.
I see. And he'll stand up shakily. Well, then we should get out of here. Quickly.
I'm afraid you will have to go first. There is still business we need to attend to here. We will show you the exit. We'll show you where you can get aid.
Oh. Okay. And he seems like a little too stunned to really argue. And Shala will start kind of walking him towards the door, and he'll stop and go, wait. There's a door. There. And he points to a section of the wall that Murray's standing right next to. He would enter and exit from there. I think it was quarters for him. Might be something worthwhile in there to help you. You know. And with that, he'll let Shala kind of guide him. And unless anyone objects, Shala is going to kind of take him to the lift and give him Davros's lever to go back up. Because you guys have Majenko, and you also have that lever with you.
Sure.
And then she'll send him to the lift and then come back to you.
Okay.
While that's happening, I'd like to. Are there any, like. You said he was going through your papers that were on the table and everything, right?
He was what? Oh, yes, he was.
old
He was going
alchemical
through
stuff.
papers.
Would I be able
He-
to look through it and see if there's anything that might relate to
Sure, absolutely. You see very detailed notes on the immunities of the Varisians when it concerns the Blood Veil. If you share this around and you guys study them and take a look at them, with this information and the information you found on Dr. Davrilis,
Mm-hmm.
you could make a cure for the Blood Veil in probably 2 weeks. Having the time it would have taken before.
Okay.
You understand exactly how this plague works now. It's just a matter of synthesizing or finding a way to generate a cure for it. There's still some bits and pieces of information missing. But if this is all you had, 2 weeks, you could have a cure. Give or take.
Okay. This definitely helps.
Everyone who's in that room, or actually Rhea or Murray, roll me an investigation check, or have one of you do it with aid.
I can make an investigation check.
Investigation is a +1, so.
Same.
All right, sure.
Everybody
Frey,
else is higher than
Frey
that.
can go in there and go ahead and make the investigation with advantage.
I will assist.
Oh yeah, all right. With the help of what Ruin said, you see a secret door in the wall that leads to what looks like a bed chamber. And in this bed chamber, you find this. I'm using the same investigation check. I'm not going to make you just roll again. You find a broken blade, this curious but broken knife with a key-shaped blade. The broken blade itself is sufficient quality to count as a masterwork component for the forging of a dagger, and is worth probably a good bit of money, though it's a little unclear what it was meant for. You see some sort of pouch containing some sort of magic glittering dust. You see a wooden spoon that also has a magical essence around it. A pearl. A silver snuff box, which is a box that people would put either drugs or herbs and incense in and use it to sniff. And masterwork thieves' tools.
Hey, Squee.
Mm-hmm.
Is that magical spoon the swoon spoon from like your Skyrim playthrough?
No, but man, talk about bringing back memories. And you
I was
notice
just about to ask that.
you notice one thing, Amelia. That broken blade, shaped like a key. That's not Archminos. In fact, why would a vampire even need a bed? This is Rolf's room.
He was fucking the vampire, I'm calling it now.
Oh my god.
Alright,
You never know.
He's got questionable tastes, man. Yeah, so I guess we just grab fucking everything.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, could get to work identifying the two if you guys wanted her to.
Or also help. I guess magical dust and magical spoon.
Okay,
Mhm.
sure. So you guys take 10 minutes.
Yeah, was Archminos like,
I don't want the answer to that.
The dust is actually a wondrous item. Magical dust of disappearance. Basically, and you can read the description on your own, but basically, you can throw this dust upon another to give them greater invisibility. However, it only lasts for 2d6 rounds, and the creature does not know when the duration will end. So I roll in secret.
And it's a one-time use, right?
Nope. Yes, actually, looks like it is.
Yeah.
I don't see any duration or anything like that. So yes, I imagine it's a one-use item.
Okay.
And then the spoon. And you know what? Like I said, I'll look it up. If that changes, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, the D&D version of it lasts a bit longer, but otherwise it's treated the same.
How much does it last in the D&D version?
In D&D, the thing is, I bet the difference is invisibility might work differently in Pathfinder, but in D&D it lasts 2d4 minutes, but it's like the level 2 invisibility. Like if you attack or cast a spell, it's gone.
I much prefer it the other way, but it's still a one-use item in D&D.
It's still one use item.
Yeah,
But
I much prefer it the
you
other
want
way.
it to
It's
be,
I like the
like,
idea that
greater
it's
invisibility.
yeah, I like the idea that it's greater invisibility, but it doesn't last long, and you don't know how long.
That's fine with me. I think that's more interesting too.
All right, and then the other one is called the sustaining spoon. It is a remarkable, unappealing utensil. When it's placed in an empty container, the vessel fills with a thick, pasty gruel. Although the gruel tastes like warm, wet cardboard, it is highly nourishing and contains everything necessary to sustain any herbivores, omnivores, or carnivorous creature. The spoon can provide sufficient gruel each day to feed up to 4 humans. You never need cook again, Murray.
Yum.
Combine that with like some salt and pepper. There you go.
No, probably awful. But
Wow.
yeah, that's what he feeds to like Cabbage Head and any other creation.
And as you guys are coming back out, Cressida looks at Murray. A long look. I sure hope you know what you're doing.
And she'll look back at Cressida and say, well, if I don't, it's my head on the block.
Cressida nods. Right. Well, I shouldn't be one to lecture people for taking risks, I suppose. So, and with that, we're going to end the session there. As far as you know, there's only one objective left in this temple.
Yay.
I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I'd like to encourage you to join us next Tuesday, as it could very well be the conclusion of Book 2. Or not. It really kind of depends, but we're there, guys. We might be 1 or 2 sessions away. Very interesting.
I don't know. We might need another long rest after this.
Yeah.
You might-
I did
we-
expect 2 level 2 spells.
I mean, we might need to take a session to roll up new characters. So,
Jesus.
I already have one. It's fine.
so yeah,
I
everyone,
have to update, but yeah.
thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye!
Bye.